Do you remember when you had the most amazing relationship in the world? You felt like all was right. You were living heaven on earth. Then do you remember when things started going south? When it felt like when they left that the rug was pulled out from underneath you? I know that I do. How to manifest your specific person, as well as how to make sure once you do get them back, how to not have that happen again. We manifest from one of two places, from that which we love and that which we fear. When you look at the beginning of your relationship or marriage, it was absolutely incredible. Everything they did was completely ideal. You found nothing but what you loved. And the beautiful thing was they reflected that back to you, and everything they did, you loved. Everything you did, they loved. Then something happened. Possibly one morning, you're waking up and you're expecting this specific person to give you a kiss and say good morning, and they don't. Instead, they go downstairs, they go to the kitchen, and they make themselves some food. Something in you, there's an inner suggestion that happens within you that says, why didn't they make me food? Why didn't they give me a kiss? Do they not love me? Do they not care about me? What's going on? Why isn't it like how it used to be? Now, these inner suggestions were not brought conscious at the time, and they were accepted as absolute truth. And as you can see, these inner conversations are not from the premise of being in a loving relationship. This is from someone who would like to be in a loving relationship. Another thing that ended up happening was fear started setting in. I fear that I'm losing this person's love. This person isn't treating me the way that I love. Something is unideal here. This happened, and throughout the day, you were thinking about, why are these doing these things? Why are things going south? This all happened unconsciously, of course. No one consciously thinks these things, but these suggestions were natural and were accepted as true. These are thoughts of disharmony. These are thoughts of fear. Then the person showed up doing more of this, which then increased the inner suggestions that we had that our relationship is not how it used to be. Then an argument happens. Some things are said during that argument. Lots of people say things that they don't mean during arguments. However, things were said, and then what they said, that was then accepted as true. This happened over and over again, and then before you know it, there was this whole entire archive of undesirable circumstances, unloving thoughts, and disharmony in this relationship that then manifest over and over again until there is a separation. Now, we may look back and say, I can't think of any time I was consciously telling myself the whole entire time that they loved me and I was doing affirmations. Yes. But remember that what we think logically most of the time is about 5% of our thoughts. Those inner suggestions that are going on all day, we have about 60,000 of them. So which is more? If I do 500 affirmations that are ideal, and I have 50,000 ones that are to the contrary, ruminating on things that were unideal, disharmony within the relationship. By far, the one that I am accepting as true and I am identified with is the 95%, the 50,000 thoughts going on all day. Now that this is understood, that the person was simply reflecting my inner conversations, how do we remedy it? Well, first off, when we see something happen within the 3D, we do this real time. We do not wait till later. We do not wait until we accept the self-suggestion. We do not wait until the damage has already been done. The best way that I like to describe it is that a thought or a self-suggestion is much like if you were to have an ash on your clothes. If you catch it immediately and brush it off, there's no damage done. If you give it more than a couple of seconds for it to sit on your clothes, it will burn into your fibers. That is what a self-suggestion does to you. This is the case for anything in your life. This is how we make heaven on earth, is by continuously being aware of the auto self-suggestions we are giving ourselves based upon 3D appearances. When an unloving self-suggestion comes to me, I become aware of what it is, and I ask myself, is this my ideal? What would I like to experience? And then I will change my self-suggestion to thinking ideally. For instance, SP shows up a certain way, it's unideal. I catch that self-suggestion that that's what I'm saying about the 3D experience, and I say, I have the most amazing wife in the world, and I accept that as true, and I let it go. And then the most amazing thing happens. One, I no longer keep in the background of what it was that happened that was unloving. Two, I accepted to have the most amazing wife in the world, and so that's how she shows up. Another way that I can do this is if, let's say, I receive an unideal text, or if I heard something unideal in person, I can visualize myself receiving the text that I actually would love to receive. Or visualize myself having my ideal conversation instead of the conversation that happened in the 3D, and then accept that as true. This is of the most importance that I could possibly share. We do not want to accept anything that is unloving with our specific person, especially, but in general in life. Now that that's out of the way, if we were manifesting a specific person back, well, what we must do is reverse engineer what we did in order to push them out of our life. We start thinking loving thoughts, thoughts that we love to think, imagine things that we love to experience. We harvest on these things. We feed our minds these all day long in imagination. This is where everything comes from. Now, a helpful tip that I found that I don't hear shared very much, but I feel like is super important. We all have our love languages. My love language happens to be words of affirmation. I found that my love language, as well as most people I work with, their love language was found from what they didn't receive when they were growing up. Once you find this, whatever this love language is, imagine scenes that imply this love language for the reason being that it means more to you. I'll share an example of a real life example for me. If I don't get bought a gift from my wife, it doesn't really make any difference to me. I don't really care about gifts. Material things have never been, super high on my priority list. So if that didn't happen, I wouldn't think she doesn't love me. Now, if words are said to me, because my love language is words of affirmation, and something unideal is said, that impacts me either to the affirmative or to the negative. So find your love language and live from experiencing what your love language is as much as possible. This will help you feel loved. Whether you're imagining scenes that include your specific person or you're imagining scenes for yourself that you feel loved, it is one and the same because your SP is you pushed out. And so when you feel love for yourself, your SP is pulling towards you. When there's disharmony, fear, judgment, they're pushing further away from you. Think of what happened automatically when you were in a loving relationship at first. It was amazing. Everything they did was incredible. You appreciated so many things about them. You appreciated how they did cute things for you. This came automatically from you being in a loving relationship. And then when you were wanting to be in a loving relationship, these were thoughts from the wish fulfilled, although they weren't conscious wish fulfilled thoughts. They're losing interest. They're interested in someone else. They don't care about me as much. They don't do what they used to do. These are all thoughts from somebody who isn't in a happy relationship. So we want to encourage thoughts that are from the wish fulfilled, images from the wish fulfilled, visualization from the wish fulfilled, feeling as though we are so loved and appreciated. So again, the love language will help you find the perfect scene or affirmation that makes you feel as though you are absolutely loved. And the goal is to think loving thoughts about them, harmonious thoughts about them. Imagine scenes that imply loving, amazing things about them. And as you do this, you start embodying being in a loving marriage or relationship. Guys, please do like, subscribe, share. The more that is done, the more that this information can get to people that need it. Please do leave a comment as well, by the way. I love interacting with you guys. This channel is for you. Please share where you're at on your journey, what is helpful for you, or any questions that you have. I'd be happy to answer them and connect with you. Signs that you're manifesting your specific person correctly. Now, when we are in certain states, we see the world automatically. You saw my last video, if you check out the Reddit post, you will see that we all have filters that sees life differently. These filters are made up of beliefs and assumptions. When I change my assumption or I change my belief or state, what will end up happening is the way that I see the world will change. I can feel as though I am in a loving marriage without any 3D proof. I have done it many times. The way that I do this is, again, by having inner conversations that are loving and ideal that I would love to experience, and then accepting these as true when I imagine or when I visualize or affirm. With persistence and accepting this, what will happen is I will start to see the world differently. When I was single and I wanted to be in a relationship, when I saw a couple, it would make me sad and miss my wife and wish that I had that. Vice versa, 3D didn't change, but when I was in the wish fulfilled, I would see a couple and go, thank God that I found my person. I love seeing these type of things. The change happened because my perception or what I accepted as true, the lens I see life through, changed. So when I am affirming or when I'm visualizing, I want to do this until I feel satisfied and the way that I change the world changes. I often get this question: how often should I affirm? How often should I visualize? The answer is until you are satisfied. Once you are satisfied, once you feel content that it is so, then you're good at affirming. Now, you want to be conscious of what you're thinking all day. You want to maintain a mental diet. And anytime thoughts start becoming unideal, or you start looking for outside proof or validation, or you start overthinking, you know that a different filter is now attached to you. You're now seeing the world completely different. This is a time where we want to go back into imagination, go back into our inner world and affirm things that are lovely and of good report until again we feel as though we are loved and we are satisfied. This is the goal. So to recap everything, we manifest what we fear or what we love. All we are doing when we are manifesting is we are focusing solely on what we love about ourselves, what we love about our relationship, what we love about our person. A helpful thing to find the perfect scene for you is to implement things that have your love language, because this means more to you, because you feel more loved when your SP does this specific thing to you. And this will end up being the perfect affirmation or scene for you. And it doesn't have to be one affirmation, it can be several affirmations. I generally had a couple of scenes I really enjoyed that I kept going to, but I made other ones throughout the day. I had a couple of affirmations I thoroughly enjoyed that felt as though I was loved, but I did alternate between other affirmations and or inner conversations from the premise of the wish fulfilled. You know that you are manifesting your specific person correctly when your view of the world changes. The 3D does not need to change for you to change how you see it. When you succeed in feeling like you're in a loving relationship and you feel satisfied, you will notice that automatic self-suggestions that will come to you are from the wish fulfilled, and you will see the world differently. I hope today's video was helpful, guys. Please do check out my other videos. I have many on manifesting specific person, how I did it myself. I have revision, how to remove limited beliefs. I trust it will be helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.